goodness. Big move Monday. Look out. A way to end the tournament.
So what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Quad Pod, sponsored by Adidas Wrestling and Poseidon Strength. We are happy to be back for episode 25, and we're happy you're here with us. This is the Reggie Bush professional episode. We know he was, like Kobe, was number 8. Reggie Bush, single digit in college, number 5. So this is the Reggie Bush episode where we are going to give some picks for All-Star Classic. We're going to call our shot for something that happens during the season, which we'll be able to come back to and say I told you so, because we don't have any wrong shots that we call. And we'll let you know what we're watching this weekend, what we're paying attention to. But before we get into that, I want to reiterate, if you watched episode 24, you know we are doing a shoe giveaway for the All-Star Classic picks. So make sure that you guys enter. You enter by sending your picks to any of our social media accounts. Can be Twitter, can be the email address that we also have, not social media, I know, but by getting it to us by any means necessary. So Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, or through our email, all of those
Carrier
things
pigeon.
are down below. Or you can actually send it to us individually too. All of these ways of getting us your picks are completely accepted. In addition, give us a screenshot showing that you are subscribed to the channel, and then give us a number of how many points you think will be scored in total throughout the entire All-Star Classic. That will be used if there is a tiebreaker that we need to break. In addition, before we get there, I also want to let you guys know that we will, as the season comes around, we will be doing our own fantasy wrestling league. It will be us, it will be the guys from fantasy wrestling, and then 2 of my friends will also be joining us, who I've talked about before. Andrew Drake and Angelo D'Elia will be jumping in on that as well, just to kind of break some things up and bring their genius as well, or should I say stupidity, because that's what we all bring to our group chats. But we'll be talking about that. We'll be giving you guys the top point scorers from fantasy wrestling, as well as probably talking even more shit once we are going up against each other and scoring some points. So it's going to be a fun season. Make sure you guys do get in on fantasy wrestling. Obviously, it is not as popular as fantasy football, but if everybody in the sport starts to do their part and jump in on this, we will accumulate even more fans in the sport. So we will be doing that this year. We'll talk about our teams. We'll give our lineups and our rosters every single week. Let you guys know who's playing who each week. And like I said, call some shots, talk some shit, do some fun things. But make sure you do enter the shoe giveaway. We will be giving away 2 pairs of shoes this year. The first one will be happening with the All-Star Classic. The next one will be happening with National Duels. Will probably be a little bit different, some tweaks and things in that. But let's get to our first topic here. And that first topic is All-Star Classic picks. And we are going to focus on the men's side of things, but we will also discuss the other matches that are happening. But for picks only, we will be talking about the men's. So let's make some picks. Let me get the All-Star Classic matchups in front of me. And we are going to go in order that the matches are going to be wrestled. They did announce that match order. So let's start out at 149, Casey Swiderski, now of Oklahoma State, taking on Lachlan McNeil, now of Michigan. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I'm going to start with Kevin, mostly because he is our Michigan man, and I think we know who he's going with. But what are your thoughts on this matchup, and who are you picking?
I love the matchup. Swiderski, also from Michigan, from Dundee. So you're going to have a little bit of the overlap there. But no, I mean, it's an awesome matchup, man, because obviously we've all seen Swiderski and how dangerous and crazy he is out on the mat. You know, McNeil obviously is just been so close to getting over that hump and hasn't quite done it, right? I think this is a really good place for him to try to do that, you know. And I think if you look at Casey Swiderski as anything other than, you know, one of those guys you're going to have to beat come March, then you're not looking at it right, you know. That guy, I'm sure, is ready to get back into a lineup, ready to compete again, and do it with the orange and black. So I'm just excited for the matchup. I am going to go ahead and pick Lachlan McNeil. I'm sure they're going to have him prepared for, the absolute chaos and hellfire that Casey Swiderski is going to throw at him. But Robbie, I'm sure you can attest that Lachlan's going to show up prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, Robbie, on to you.
I mean, I agree. Sad that Lachlan's not in the ACC anymore. He's a good kid, and I enjoyed covering him. I think Michigan's a good spot for him for his final year. I think he's going to get some different looks and get some different coaching style, and I think that will do nothing but add to his arsenal. I think being closer to the Canadian border probably give him some power, like the maple syrup, probably helpful. But I like him in this matchup. I mean, 3-time All-American. I think he's kind of hard to pick against here, and he's letting the hair grow out, so I think that helps as well.
Nice. Maybe that maple syrup he can put a little bit in his hair. A little bit.
There we go.
Sorry, that's a Wedding Crashers reference for those who didn't know. Austin, on to you.
I'll take McNeil too. I do like Swiderski. I think it's a little bit of a wild card matchup with him in there. Maybe come March, this match is a little different, but Swiderski just kind of being new at Oklahoma State, kind of figuring some things out. I think he's still maybe a work in progress, and sounds weird being ranked number 5 in the country, but I think he's going to get better as the year goes on, and this match will probably be closer, maybe even reverse come March, but I like McNeil in this one.
I'm going to go Swiderski, honestly. I feel like Lachlan is a more subdued wrestler than Casey Swiderski, right? You don't know where Swiderski's going to come from. He might hit something kind of wild. Not to say he's a wild wrestler, but I feel like he really brings a lot more action, where Lachlan will slow a match down and make you wrestle his style, right? And I feel like Swiderski is more pressure coming forward, strong hand fighting, a lot of movement. And Lachlan's like, all right, we're gonna slow this down. If you're gonna shoot when when it's my time to counter or whatever else, right? And I feel like he's more of a subdued wrestler. But I think that Swiderski can get through that. I feel like he can put some pressure on Lachlan and score maybe 2 takedowns on him. We've seen Lachlan be in a waterfall position more than once in his career, obviously, draped over the back of some guy. And I feel like he allows guys to get in on his legs a little bit too easily. I'm hopeful that is something that Michigan might be able to fix for him or change or whatever else. But my thoughts are that Swiderski poses some issues when it comes to the pressure and the pace that he puts on a match. So I'm going to go Swiderski on this one. Moving on to 174, Simon Ruiz taking on Lenny Pinto. Pinto now at Rutgers. Ruiz from Cornell. I'm going to start with Austin in this one. What do you think of this matchup?
Part of me likes Pinto with just in that home environment, his new home environment. Jersey Mike's is going to be bumping. Ruiz is really, really good. I just feel like he's gotten a lot better since last year with his freshman campaign. Ruiz beat him 1-0 last year at NCAAs, if it counts for anything, or 2-1 if it counts for anything. Give me Ruiz by the slightest of margins.
Interesting. Didn't go with the homer pick. Betting
No, I
against
didn't.
the Lehigh Valley kid. You better hide.
I know. Might regret it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Kevin, your thoughts on 74?
I don't know now. I was gonna pick Ruiz and I was gonna go on the he was so good as a freshman. Like what he did is very, very hard to do, and I feel like it was very much under the radar and not talked about enough. I'm kind of doing a little bit of prep and research and looking at old brackets, and I'm like, damn, that guy was really good. But I just keep going back to the fact that so many of these dudes at Cornell are hurt or not going to be competing or whatever. And I'm like, how good can you get if there's not anyone really else in the room to wrestle with right now? Whereas Pinto,
let's not pretend like they're not wrestling. They're just not competing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I know Lenny Pinto is at Rutgers, who's got a lot of momentum going right now, and a lot of dudes in that room are working hard to get to that next step. So I am gonna take Pinto. What the hell? I'm gonna take Pinto. Yeah, let's go with that.
Robbie.
I'm going full Jersey Mike's support here behind Pinto. It was a 2-1 match in the blood round last year, super close. Pinto's been lost in the blood round twice. I think he makes it through, kind of breaks through this year and gets on the podium, and I think it starts here. So I'm going Pinto.
I'm also gonna go Pinto, and yeah, I know I said something about being a homer, and certainly I know it probably looks that way, but and it probably is, and I'm going to double down when I say this statement of Mikey Labriola is now back in the room with Lenny Pinto. Last year, Pinto did not have Labriola for the first time, and he didn't look as good, in my opinion. So I think that the Labriola factor of getting him ready, as well as Labriola being on the senior circuit now and having that experience to go along with it, I think that, him wrestling with Labriola, somebody who he's comfortable with, and then ultimately wanting to show out in his new arena and having I'm guessing a lot more family in attendance than when he was at Nebraska as well. Atmosphere is everything a lot of times, and this is going to be a very big one. And I feel like Jersey Mike's is going to show out for Lenny Pinto at the All-Star. So I'm gonna go Pinto. Like I said, I think it's the Labriola factor. I think we will certainly see a better Lenny Pinto this year based off of who he has in the room that he is now comfortable with, because he's not just going to be wrestling with him, he's going to be coaching him as well, and kind of putting the tweaks and the tuning to all of it as well. So and not for nothing, I think there's other guys in the room that can do that too, but I feel like the comfortability with Mikey Labriola is going to get him over the hump, and who the hell knows, maybe even Sammy Sasso at some point too in that Rutgers room. Moving on to 97. Joey Novak, Stephen Little. This is going to be fun, honestly. I'm going to start with Robbie because of the Wyoming factor. Yeah, every single time I've had a reason for why I'm going with each one of you. For the Wyoming factor here. So, Robbie, what are your thoughts on the bout at 197?
Powder River, Joey Novak going strong, takes out Stephen Little, starting off the season on a big note for the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a really good match. Honestly, one of the better matches of the card, I think. But I like Novak. I think he's going to be pretty high on the podium this year.
Kevin?
Yeah, I was looking at the rankings and everything, trying to get ready for my calling my shot thing, and I was like, damn, dude, Joey Novak's walking in as the third ranked 197. Like, I remember 2 years ago when he was a true freshman 197 and was just like, I don't mean this in any way other than like he was just kind of figuring it out. Like, he was in the lineup as a true freshman, just like, and even Mark was, because I was interviewing him a lot with Blood Round at the time because we were following them, and he was like, yeah, like Joey's, we're just keep putting him out there, and he's getting better and he's making improvements, but it was a struggle at sometimes that freshman year. He obviously put it together last year, got on the podium, had a really, really strong season. And I think he's going to keep improving. I think he's going to keep getting better. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do, but the leap that he made from that freshman to sophomore year really, unless you were paying attention to Wyoming wrestling as closely as I was, you probably didn't notice it. You probably didn't know who Joey Novak was at the beginning of last season, but now you do, and I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's going to go get it done.
Austin?
This is a coin flip for me. I like them both. I'll just go with Novak. I feel like he's a little more unorthodox, a little hard to pin down, pun intended. But yeah, I think he does a lot of unorthodox things, just different things for guys at a heavier weight class. So I'll go Novak. But to me, like I said, it's a coin flip.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Stephen Little. Yeah, I'm gonna be the contrarian here, but like I feel like the match that gave me more confidence in Stephen Little was when he wrestled Ferrari last year and completely stymied Ferrari on their feet. where Ferrari was in on a leg, and as strong as we know he is with all the weight on the bar for his deadlifts, he could not get there, could not take down Stephen Little, right? And I feel like the heavy hips and the good defense is part of that reason why I'm going to take Stephen Little. My hope is, at least with making this pick, is that we see more offense from him. There are times where he is more strategic with his offense. He's not firing off as many shots. He's more of a reattack kind of a guy, and not a first shot kind of a guy from in bigger matches, I guess I should say. But I'm going to take Stephen Little in this one. On to 125, and this is where we've got ACC versus EIWA. Austin, I'm going to give you the first shot at this one since we just went with Robbie in the last one. Eddie Van Treska taking on Sheldon Seymour. What are we seeing at 125? Austin, your shot.
I think we talked about last week. Ventresca won this one at NCAAs. I don't think it was all that close either, but I'll do my homework pick. I like Sheldon Seymour. Early in the season, I feel like Ventresca might get off to slow starts unless I'm misremembering that. But I think Sheldon has a chip on his shoulder ready to prove that he belongs here again. So I'll take Sheldon. I like Seymour.
Robbie?
Eddie V's from Jersey. He constantly has a chip on his shoulder. That's just kind of how he rolls.
Good point.
I think he's going home, and he's going to show out in front of his hometown fans. I like Eddie to get it done.
Claunch.
Man, you guys are all making really good points. I'm gonna go Sheldon. I was gonna go Sheldon just because I know Eddie's been, I don't know, senior 125s. It's hard to keep that weight down for a long time.
It's only
And
a
I feel
junior,
like
if that helps.
he's a junior.
He got an
Seymour's a
injury year
senior.
back.
I
Red
don't
shirt.
believe you.
Yeah, red shirt All-American and injury. That's when he was like 2-5,
Okay.
2-6. He got injured
Let me-
at Cliff Keen.
Old 125 powders. How about that?
There you go.
Experienced 125
Advanced
Advanced
125.
Advanced
That's right. Advanced 125 pounders. I don't know. I think maybe end of the season when you'd assume the weight would be a little bit more under control. But I'm going Sheldon Seymour in this one. I think, just like Austin says, he's going to want to get in there and show that that March wasn't a fluke and make some adjustments.
Yeah. Ventresca's beard is why you think he's so much older. Because
He does have a good beard.
He's got a beard kind of just like you, Kevin. So
Yeah.
I can fully understand that. But I'm gonna go Ventresca. I know I also do think that Sheldon Seymour wants to mix it up and make sure that people realize that it was not a fluke last year when he, beats Lilladal and all that other stuff, right? And I'm sure that so many people are going to continue to say that. Like, everybody's so high on Sheldon Seymour because of this, that, whatever. And, that was a one-off match. Since then, look what Lilladal has done, U23 world champ, all this stuff, right? Still a loss at NCAAs. Don't matter what you think about it being a fluke or whatever else, the man got the shit done. So, but with that said, I am going to take Ventresca because I do feel like he is now healthy, right? When we saw him unhealthy, and that was
Rough.
bad. Everybody was like, what the
Mhm.
hell is going on with Eddie Ventresca? That was obviously 2 years ago when he ended up not finishing the season. I feel like since being healthy, he has been very, very good. And I feel like he continues that, mostly because there were so many people asking the question of what the hell is going on with him when he was injured, and people didn't truly know the breadth of like how injured he was. So I think that he is certainly a NCAA finalist contender at 125. I mean, obviously, yes, the number 4 ranking would do that, but I feel like it's not just a preseason type of thing, right? Where we see guys highly ranked and then they kind of fall off and things don't work out. I feel like we're going to see some more consistency from Ventresca, and it starts this weekend with another win over Sheldon Seymour. On to 157, I'm gonna come back to Robbie on this one because I know you've talked about Cardenas a good bit. We got Ty Waters and Daniel Cardenas, and this is the last time we saw Ty Waters last year, right? Is it he won
Yep.
this one, or he was in, and he was injured like right after. So yeah, good to see him back in this one. But Robbie, your thoughts on 157 Ty Waters versus Daniel Cardenas?
I think it's actually a really good match. They're both pretty similar background. They're both uh, All-Americans in their first year as freshmen, out last year and coming back and with some pretty high expectations. Uh, I like what I've seen from Cardenas. I like the practice partners he has around him with Hunter Garvin above him and Aiden Valencia below him. I think he's getting pushed every day in the room. I don't know that you can necessarily say the same for Ty Waters, at least at the same level. So I like Cardenas. I mean, it's probably part of my partially bias, but I have pretty high expectations for him this year, and I think it starts in Jersey.
Kevin?
I'm going Ty Waters, man. I love watching that dude wrestle, and it was a bummer not having him last year. Now I'm questioning this. He's excellent on top, right? Like that's how I
Yeah.
remember. He just was an absolute murderer on top. And I'm sure Cardenas has great practice partners too, but like it's just different when you've got somebody who is that advanced in the top position. Like it can be an absolute game changer, whether it's riding time or just absolutely being exhausted after the second period because you chose bottom and you wish you weren't even in there to wrestle in that match at that point, right? So I think that's just going to be the game changer. He has the elite skill out of the two guys, like the one that stands up above any of the other guys on that mat skills. So that's my pick.
Austin?
Yeah, I think I agree with Claunch on that. Waters is really, really good. He's tall, lanky. He was huge for 149. Not surprising. He's up a weight class at 157 now. And I think what Holmes was saying, hurt pretty much all last year, and now he's ready to go, I think. And, Cardenas is obviously an All-American, really, really good. But I like Waters just for how tall and orthodox he is. And I think he's maybe a little fresh after that injury, ready to go. So give me Waters. Should be a good match, though.
Yeah, I'm going Waters as well. I think that X factor that Kevin talked about, it would be his ability to ride in his top game. I think it was on like full display at NCAAs as a freshman, and that's really what surprised a lot of people and where he kind of made his money that year, of just at least that year at NCAAs in general, of just being on top and being kind of a leech and turning people and everything else. And good to see him back. I'm glad that he is able to return this season as early as he is, because as we've said with like guys that are at Lehigh and Cornell, we're not seeing them that first half of the year because of injuries from last year. Ty Waters is another one of those guys that, as we said, he wrestled in this last year and then we didn't see him after that from injury. So him coming back so soon, that certainly indicates that he is fully healthy and ready to go. So I'm gonna go Ty Waters here, 57. On the 65, Austin, coming back to you with Lehigh, with Max Brignola. He's going to be wrestling Hunter Garvin, another ACC versus EIWA matchup. Austin, your thoughts on 165?
I want to take Brignola for the homer factor. I just think he's a bit of an underdog in this one. He had some good wins last year in his red shirt. I just think he kind of needs to get some wins under his belt, kind of prove that he's in this All-American kind of upper echelon. Maybe this is the match to do it, but I just think Garvin is just showing how good, how tough he is. Although I was looking at Garvin's wrestle stat from last year. All his losses are like the top 3-4 guys in the country, and Garvin did end up All-American. So, I think he's the favorite here, and hoping I'm wrong, but I think Garvin does have this one, but it'd be a nice win for Brignola, obviously coming off a red shirt.
Yeah, Robbie?
I got Hunter Garvin all day and his mustache. I love Hunter Garvin. He's a great kid, super hard worker, does things the right way, and just a lot of fun to watch wrestle. He's nonstop and willing to put himself in some dangerous situations to score points. So I think he's probably the next tier above Brignola, but I think Brignola's kind of right on that brink, like Austin said. And I think you certainly favor Hunter here. And I think he gets it done.
Yeah. Claunch?
Yeah, he's a two-time All-American. I almost wanted to pick Brignola for a second because I was like, man, my memory of last year was that Garvin started slowly, and I was like kind of surprised to see him back at 165 this year. But yeah, no, like you said, all of his losses were like to the top guys, and maybe he did start a little bit slow. But wrestling Peyton Hall can make you look that way sometimes too.
Yeah,
So
he lost to Barraclaw, Caliendo, and Peyton Hall. It's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So All Americans. Yeah, no, he's consistent. Again, that Stanford crew and Chris Ayers and everything that they're doing out there, I just have nothing but confidence in it. So I'll go with Hunter Garvin as well.
Yeah, same across the board. Hunter Garvin. It's hard to pick against him in this match, even though I feel like Brignola has a lot of promise for that Lehigh lineup. He's going to certainly be one of those stalwart pieces that they use. Obviously they're not going to have all their firepower to start the season out, but he is certainly going to be one of those guys that I feel like later on in the season when they are in those EIWA duels and then going into conferences, he's going to be one of those guys that's a very high point scorer for Lehigh. But start the season against Hunter Garvin, I think it's a good match for him to get that feel, but I don't see him getting the win. Claunch, gonna come to you here for 184, Jackson Smith and Zach Ryder. Your thoughts here at 184 and your pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the dude who's been in a college lineup and won college wrestling matches. Why are we getting all-stars for guys? Didn't Ryder just transfer?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Like, is this a high school All-American match? I don't, or not All-American, but like All-Star. I don't know. They couldn't find anybody else at 184. 184 is like awesome. None of those other dudes wanted to do it. I don't know. I maybe I'm wrong. I think Jackson Smith is awesome though, so I'm gonna pick him. He's been very, very consistent since getting to the scene at Maryland, and is one of the reasons they're have improved in the way that they have. So I'm gonna stick with my dude Jackson Smith. He's gonna get it done.
Robbie.
Now, I don't disagree with the take that he's not super experienced in college, but he was an 8-0 last year, won the Scuffle, won the Black Knight Invitational, wins over Saldano, and D'Anthony Parker, TJ Stewart. So got good wins. That being said, I think Jackson Smith is certainly more seasoned, and I think he has a little bit more motivation going into this personally. So I'm going to go with Jackson Smith.
I feel like a lot of guys beat TJ Stewart last year.
Yeah, I don't.
More than
it's
didn't.
Hard to list that one as a good win.
He was an All-American though, so I'll give you that.
Yeah. TJ Stewart last year versus TJ Stewart 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give you that one. This year it's tough to do. Last year it's tough to do. Yeah. Austin, your thoughts here on the wait before I give my pick.
Yeah, I agree. Ryder kind of has to prove it to me that he can beat a guy like Smith. Maybe he does, but on paper, Smith is the smart pick here.
I do feel like Ryder is going to be wrestling with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, because of leaving Penn State. And if you saw his interview with Bo Nickel and how it was Penn State through and through, and then they go out and get the guy from within the conference, and it's just like, why am I even here, right? So I feel like there's going to be a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and I do not think he gets the win here. I am going to go with Jackson Smith here, but I think it would certainly be a shockwave if Ryder did win this, mostly because even though he does have wins over notable guys, I guess I should say, like guys that do have a name and have done something prior to him doing something on the at NCAAs, I I think that there's still more for him to kind of prove here. But
Yeah, listing dudes that Jackson Smith can beat off as like good wins
You
is
said beat
not.
off.
I did. I realized it as soon as I said it too. And it's like, son of a bitch.
We're a family program here, Claunch.
I know. But listing off people who Jackson Smith can beat is, not a great argument for why he can beat Jackson Smith.
Agreed.
Fair.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Claunch, we're gonna stick with you here at 285. Bastida and Gadali. Does the new Michigan man at heavyweight, does he get it done?
I think so. I mean, he was awesome last year. Hopefully he remembers his singlet this time. But no, I think he can get it done. I mean, it's funny because I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, man, Bastida coming back is pretty wild. Like,
Speaking of
that guy
old,
was.
let's be honest.
He's my
he's
age.
he's old. He's an old dude. But you know what? I'm like, man, he was on a tear that year before NCAA's, and then he broke his thumb, and then like wasn't an All-American at all. So I'm like, damn, that guy was so good. If you get a healthy, dangerous, younger Bastida, like that's a scary dude. But yeah, man, he's old as shit. And Tay is young and hungry and ready to go and wrestling with Mason Paris and those dudes all the time. I'm gonna go with him. Going with Tay.
Robbie.
Yeah, I think putting Tay in a room with Mason Paris and Adam Kuhn and Kevin Jackson, and I think that's a little beneficial to his wrestling ability. So I'm gonna go with Tay. I think it's gonna be interesting to see where both of them are at after a year off, and how they're actually coming back and what shape they're in and how big they actually are. So looking forward to seeing how that shakes out. But I think I like Tay.
Austin.
This is one of those ones that it's a coin flip for me again. This is going to be a really close, good, entertaining match. Both really athletic, big heavyweights that can move well, and it should be entertaining. But I think I like Bastida in this one. I think he wants to prove why he's the top ranked guy coming back in a lot of these rankings. So, yeah, give me Bastida, but entertaining match, close overall.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tay Gadali as well. I was very impressed with him. What was that, like 3 years ago? When I had the chance to commentate, and it was a dual meet in Florida where Campbell was, and it was like Wisconsin, and I think Iowa State was also
Oh,
there.
yeah, I remember that.
And that was
Yeah.
like the first time that I had ever seen Tay in person. And a lot of people,
Not a
I mean,
small human.
not a small human. He was a smaller human back then. That is for damn sure. And people were everybody was very high on Tay. He was still very green back then, but you could see the promise. You could see you could see the footwork, you could see the offense there, but he was undersized as a heavyweight back then. But I loved his footwork. I loved how he was able to move. And I feel like as he's gotten older and really filled in at the weight and gotten a lot stronger, he's a matchup nightmare for a lot of these guys. And for everyone in the weight class, to be completely honest. I'm gonna go with Tay here as well. On the 133, and I'm gonna kick this one off mostly because last year when I called my shot, it was Lucas Bird winning an NCAA title, and I rode that wave all the way to the end, and he proved me correct. I'm gonna do that again. Lucas Bird, end to end, number one at the beginning, number one at the end. That is not me calling my shot. However, I do think that he is going to win this match over Dylan Chauver. Austin, on to you.
Ooh, I don't know because I picked against Pinto. I want to say the other Rutgers guy's going to win and Chauver, but he's going against Bird, so I'm
You
kind
didn't
of
hedge your
put
bet
myself.
too well on
Yeah,
this one.
yeah. Yeah, I like Bird. Shawver's such a gamer though, man. But Bird being number one, I think he's gonna try and keep that going, ride that NCAA high, and hopefully his girlfriend's in the stand so everyone can see the short king in action. So yeah, give me Bird.
I think Austin. We'll probably end up with a text from Middich after the show comes out where
Probably.
he's talking some shit because Shawver's
Yep.
his guy.
Yeah, he's good.
Claunch on
Yep, he
you.
will.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy who was the NCAA champion last year, in Lucas Bird. And yeah, Dylan has had some big wins. He's won a Big Ten title. He's a very accomplished wrestler. But again, I think any reasonable person would probably take the guy who's beaten Shawver many times and has it literally beat. He won the last tournament that decides the best wrestler at this weight, the most recently time that happened. So yeah, I'll probably pick him to win.
Yeah, Robbie.
I like how hard you're trying not to say beaten off.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Short King, next question. Lucas Bird gets done.
There we go. Does anybody else find it fascinating that the last two matchups, I believe, are both 1 versus 7, at least when it comes to Flo's rankings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
those are the only two number ones that are in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Lucas and Jesse.
So I understand why they would
there's
be
no twos.
Why they would be last.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you would have to get all the Penn State guys who, as we talked about in the last episode, most of them were wrestling at World Championships this year. So let's give them a bit of a break before the season starts. But Robbie, I'm gonna come back to you to cap this one off. Who do you have winning this last one at 141? Echemendia, Jesse Mendez.
I don't know that I've ever seen Jesse Mendez lose, and I don't think that's going to happen here.
I think he lost a match last year, right? Didn't he lose?
Yeah, he lost to Brock Hardy.
I don't know that I don't know that I saw him lose. I don't know that I've ever seen him lose.
You watch it
that
like
doesn't mean
this?
he hasn't lost. Every
You
match
watch
that
it
I've
like
watched
this?
him wrestle in, he won. So I think that's going to continue here. Echemendia is also like 46, and I don't know how he has any eligibility or, leave my other comments off of this one. But Jesse Mendez.
Yeah. Jesse Mendez. Next question. Claunch?
Yeah, dude, Jesse Mendez is gonna win. There's a lot of old dudes on Iowa State. Like Rocky Elam's pretty old too.
A lot of old dudes who have been at 3 schools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin, you agree with this Jesse Mendez next question?
Yeah, I do. I like Mendez a lot. And the other interesting wrinkle that I think we discussed last week, they're former teammates. Echemendia spent some time at Ohio State, so maybe a little bit of familiarity there, but might be entertaining. But you gotta go Mendez. He's just freaking solid, man. He's really good.
I feel like there's a really anticlimactic way to end it, even if Mendez is the number one and the biggest name here. Like this isn't on paper, this shouldn't be a very competitive match.
Yeah.
Their styles don't match well. Mendez has been murdering everybody. I don't understand ending with this match. I'd rather end with Bird Shawver, but
yeah. The scoreboard is gonna look like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where it just keeps going and it stops and says this is pretty one-sided, isn't it? Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. It's not going to be pretty. Jesse Mendez is an absolute gangster, and like I said, I love his family. And I've said this before. The year that he won his first NCAA title, they came into the press room absolutely partying, and they were laughing and having so much damn fun. While people were trying to ask him questions, he was trying to be serious, and it was just such a damn good time. So shout out to Jesse Mendez's family because they were an absolute party. And I'm hopeful that he becomes a 3-timer, to be completely honest. But those are our picks on the men's side. Let's talk a little bit about these other matchups that are going to be happening. There's a D3 versus D2 match that is happening at 141.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a familiar sweatshirt that is in these episodes. You got Mark Samuel and Kevon Grace from West Liberty. and then there's what is that? 4 women's matches. All of these matches, a lot of these are on the women's side. It's 1 versus 1
Mhm.
in a lot of these, so it's gonna be honestly a ton of fun. Especially this 160 match. Does anybody realize that this other girl is #1 at 145?
Yeah, that's a lot of weight to go up. I mean, Bellamir's
Yeah,
good, but
but
Latifa's
that's
gonna
a
destroy her.
anywhere, anytime kind of a shot caller right there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
respect to that. But how are we feeling about these matchups? The D2 versus D3 as well as the women's matchups. I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with really any of these other matchups, but I do know that they're always highly entertaining. Some more so than the Division 1 men's matches that we have. So any thoughts? Rob, I'm going to come to you. You're rocking the Roanoke sweatshirt. So your thoughts on at least that match?
Marky Mark's gonna get it done. I mean, Note got their first national champion last year. Yetzer is doing everything right there, building that program up, and I think Mark getting a chance to represent the program on the big stage here is gonna be really cool. So I think he gets it done. The McBride sisters are gonna go murder some people like they usually do,
They normally
and
do.
yeah, they're pretty good at that. The one I'm most interested in is at 45. I think Reese Mendy probably gets it done. Uh, that's a D1 versus I think Wayne Penn's still NAIA. They were in my
Yeah,
conference when I was in NAIA, so I think they still are. But I think that's the only upset that I could see. Otherwise, I think Sage gets it done. I think the McBride sisters both get it done.
yeah. I love how there's another Ogun Sanya though. That's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But no, I think overall, I think it's going to be holistically entertaining. I'm looking forward to every single one of these matches, to be honest. I'm glad that the season is back, and those are our picks. As I've said, you guys can enter your picks as well. Get them to us however you want, whether it is email, DMs on social media channels. Also send that screenshot of you being a subscriber and give us a number for total points scored during the Division 1 men's matches. And that will be our tiebreaker should anything be close, right? Should anybody have the same amount that are correct. That is it for All-Star Classic talk. Let's move to what we've got going on in some of our respective conferences and things like that. Austin, let's start in the EIWA. What are you watching? What are you looking forward to this weekend? Either some matches, some wrestlers, some tournaments, anything like that that is happening with any of the EIWA teams.
Well, the first dual meet of the season is at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Sacred Heart takes on Duke. That's a little EIWA versus ACC match. Duke won that one 23-15 last year, and Sacred Heart looking for revenge there. Another duel that same night, which I think might be the best duel of the weekend, Pitt versus Navy. Um, Pitt stomped them last year 35-3. Obviously Navy looking to come back and revenge that. Big
Wasn't
matchup.
that wasn't that a Navy win 2 years ago though? Was that the match that Navy ended up winning over Pitt? Or am I?
You might be right. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what that was. I think Navy beat Pitt 2 years ago, and then Pitt came back and ended up stomping them last year.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what it
I think you're right
was.
there. Yeah,
So
I think you're
that's
Yes, they
kind
right.
of a
did.
yeah, that's kind of it was like first time in a long time that Navy had beaten like an ACC opponent or something along those lines. I can't remember what
Hmm.
the full storyline was,
And
but
Pitt was ranked at the time too.
yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like there's kind of a little rivalry brewing between Navy and Pitt. So I like that they're kicking the season off with it. But go ahead, Austin, keep going.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say the main matchup there is Danny Wask versus Augustine, Luca Augustine. Um Wask is number 5 right now. Augustine is 13th. So two pretty high ranked guys. I think Augustine is 2-1 against him in his life. But Wask was an All-American last year, so he has that over him. F&M is going to be at the Southeast Open with a lot of Robbie's ACC teams down there. Navy Classic, I mentioned last week, has a lot of good teams there. Nebraska, Pitt will be there. Plethora of EIWA teams as well. But I'm definitely going to be looking at the Princeton Open too. talking to Coach Nickerson, Army's going to send 44 guys there. So that nearest Wegmans better start stocking up on produce.
44
And
guys?
44 people. Yeah, that's I think they have 50 some guys on their roster. So a few guys not participating. So yeah, a lot of Army guys there.
So they're not
And
subject to roster limitations?
not at this time, no.
That's
And then
awesome.
well, I don't think they bought in, right? That only
Yeah,
counts
they
if you
didn't
buy
opt
in.
in.
Yeah. And then last thing for Princeton Open is Lehigh. Gonna send a bunch of guys there, but they have like 5 or 6 possible starters at 49 and 74. So might get some clarity there after this weekend if all things go well and everyone's kind of wrestling that is supposed to be wrestling and not injured. So a lot going on, including the All-Star match here. So, wrestling season's here. You got to watch a lot of things and keep track of a lot going on.
Nice. Claunch, on to you. Anything that you are paying close attention to this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Clarion Open's coming up. That's this weekend. That's this Sunday. Ohio State's going to be wrestling there. And then I was just looking up. I think it's next Thursday. Iowa wrestles Bellarmine. So that's what's it's not quite the weekend, but still take a look at that. And then in general, man, I'm just pumped because Michigan State opens the following weekend, which I go to every year, and I'm very excited for it. And I think I'm gonna. Last couple of years, I brought down Cortland to take a look and talk to some different wrestlers and get some interviews and do that stuff. And I'm gonna probably bring down Miles this year too because he's gonna be starting wrestling next week, wrestling practice. So.
Oh,
Again, the more I can get him involved and watching and excited for it, the better. So
Is
then it
it true
becomes
you
his
named him
idea.
after Miles Amin?
It's not directly, but it was 100% like, yeah, like
Miles Davis.
that guy's awesome. Well, but it's with the Y, the MYLES. So yeah, had to go with my dude. It's like, yeah. Also, Miles with an I is not a name, it's a unit of measurement. So,
Good point.
yeah.
Peter Pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
There you go. There you go. Robbie, anything in the ACC?
Yeah, Pitt and Navy duel is going to be great. Like you said, I like that they're kind of building this rivalry and making it a yearly thing. Utah Valley and Stanford is going to be a pretty fun duel. Aiden Valencia and David Evans is a ranked matchup there at 49. It should heavily favor Stanford, but it's at Utah Valley, and Adams building a hell of a program out there, and they're pretty tough at home. So it could be an interesting duel. I was hoping to see TK Davis and Dylan Chauver this weekend, but he's at the All-Star Classic, so we won't see it because TK Davis beat him last year for
That's right.
Gardner Webb. But I think that the duel of the weekend for me is Cal Poly and Purdue. There's some really fun matchups there.
That will be good.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just like looking at like Big 12, looking at Big 10. First of all, the Big 12 website is incorrect. They have North Dakota State wrestling Missouri, which isn't true. They are wrestling
Wisconsin.
So I can remember when Obi got the job, the head coaching job, and I like immediately sent him a text and was like, "Hey, we'd love to do an interview with you." And he just called me. Like it was like immediate, right?
Obi's
So,
awesome.
yeah, I mean the coaching staff that used to be at NC State, Beasley, Obi, all those guys, like that was such an amazing coaching staff. All of those guys deserve to be head coaches and running things. They, such a great coaching tree that Pop has. But I think that this match is intriguing, right? Like both of these lineups last year, it's not like they had a ton of firepower. Obviously, Wisconsin had Fugit that caught fire late in the season and everything else. But like North Dakota State and Wisconsin, I think it should be a pretty good matchup, honestly. I feel like both of these teams are looking for some sort of spark, and this could act as that. So that's one that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, with knowing both coaching staffs and who doesn't want to see John Reeder coaching. That man is fired up all the time. But yeah, outside of that, I feel like, Southeast Open, Clarion Open, those are the ones that will be paying the most attention to for sure. And
Minnesota's coming out to the Southeast Open. That's a new one.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Be interesting.
Yeah, I saw that too. So, and then
Minnesota,
obviously,
Virginia Tech, North Carolina.
Nebraska is always at the Navy, was at the Navy Open too. So they're normally there wrestling. I think, what was it last year or 2 years ago when Ridge Lovett had that like 1 point match and everybody was like, I think it was against Danny Wask too, wasn't it? Who did he wrestle in the finals?
No, it wouldn't have been Wasp. They would have been
Wouldn't
different
have been
weights.
Wasp, different weights. Yeah, he wrestled somebody in the finals where it was like a very close match, and everybody was like kind of raising an eyebrow to it. But it's like it's the beginning of the season. Guys are going to be, having very tough matches, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to all these open season tournaments. The season is finally back, finally here. Obviously next week we'll have some even bigger dual meets and things like that too. But let's get on to our final segment. This is where we're going to call our shot. We'll do this every single week where we will pick something out and call our shot. And for this first week, I know we're pretty limited on certain things. So it doesn't have to be just this week limited to it. So, you can call your shot for a tournament, for anything, because we're starting the season off right now. As we go week to week, we will call our shot with something that is happening that week. But to start the season off, we can make a big, bold prediction of whatever the hell we want. So, Robbie, I'm going to start with you. Call your shot. Give us a bold prediction of something you think will happen either this weekend or something that will happen during the season.
Maxed out NCAA finalist.
Nice. Any reason
his
why?
mustache, because he has a great mustache.
Oh, well, there you go. You did say that on Twitter.
No, he's damn good, and he just keeps getting better. It reminds me a lot of Nino's run and his kind of trajectory and working one-on-one with Keith. Keith Gavin is one of the best technicians in the sport, and having one-on-one time with him when you're an upper weight is just you're not going to do anything but get better. And he's got Pitzer to work with every day as well. You saw him kind of break through a little bit last year, and I think he continues that run this year. And I think he makes the finals this year.
Austin, on to you.
I was actually thinking along the NCAA finals, so I'll piggyback off Robbie. I just saw this, so I'm generally asking the question: when was the last time there were brothers competing in the NCAA finals? And will we see it this year with the fast cars both being NCAA finalists?
No, we won't.
You don't think so?
Is that what your call out is though?
I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. Looking at the rankings, Angelo is, I think, second or third, and AJ is second or third again. So
yeah,
they have
top three.
They had the opportunity. I was just kind of thinking, when's the last time two brothers made the finals? When's the last time two brothers won the damn thing? So
go back to Tom and Terry.
Yeah, that was my thinking initially off the top.
John and Pat weren't together. They didn't overlap.
No, that would have been before. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, maybe that's my prediction.
Pirate question. Britt Malinsky.
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
where's Britt Malinsky when we need him? You know what's going to happen is this is going to be published on Friday, and I will get a text from Jason Bryant, and he will let us know, and we will come back the following week, and we will give you the answer to that question.
Or if any of the fans know it, feel free to help us out. But
jump in those comments and let us know, or the DMs. If it's Cornell Kevin that jumps in the DMs, expect a book to come. But I love the analysis, and I love that he chimes in the way that he does.
Yeah.
Are you predicting two fast cars in the finals?
I think so. Call your shot. It's supposed to be somewhat bold, and I think one would be enough. I think going two is a bold enough.
It's more than enough.
Yeah, it's a lot of Ferrari to go around. So yeah, I'll take two brothers in the finals. They don't have to be Ferraris, just two brothers.
Oh, there you go. I think it might be 2 Ferraris if I think that's probably the best chance you got
Yeah,
though.
probably. Yeah.
Claunch, I can see you getting real analytical. I would love at some point, I think you need to show the notebook that you've
Oh,
got because you're always like in on all of these notes and I love it. I love it. There's
got some
always a
notes.
good amount of notes in
There's a
here.
little flower at the top here.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was
But no,
expecting
this
super bad. It's just a page full of dicks he's drawing.
yeah, right.
Dicks.
This big veiny bastard right here. Speaking of big veiny bastards, I was just looking at 184, and it's gonna be a badass weight, dude.
It is.
It's just gonna be super fun. I don't have a shot to call other than like I don't know. I could say like, oh, this guy's not gonna be on the podium or whatever, but that just seems shitty. I'm just super pumped for 184, man. You got Eddie Nietenbach of Wyoming at 11. Isaac Dean, Iowa State 10, Aiden Sinclair. I mean, there's a ton of young dudes at 184. Normally, you see the young dudes in there at like the lower weights for whatever reason. We lost all the seniors from last year, with Strachey and Keckeisen and everybody else. But it's like, dude, we're still gonna have Angelo Ferrari, Rocco Welsh, Max McAnally, Jackson Smith, Silas Allred, Dylan Fishback, like Zach Ryder, we're talking about him earlier. I mean, we're just reloading, and I'm very excited for it. Brock Mantanona, James
Silas
Conway at
Allred.
Franklin. Yeah, Allred's
If Silas Allred would shave his beard and leave the mustache, he would instantly be top 3.
he would win. He would win the mustache contest for sure.
You a mustache
feel like-
from Robbie.
I feel like he shaves and it just grows back like in the Santa Claus when Tim Allen shaves.
Right away.
Yeah, just immediately comes back. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just really excited for it. I guess I will say, just if I'm gonna call a shot, Brock Mantanona is getting on the podium at 184.
I'm gonna double down on the Michigan call out. And I'm going to say that Tay Gadali is an NCAA finalist.
Against
That
Isaac
is-
Trumbull.
That is my.
Ferrari. Yeah.
I mean, if I take it a step further, I'll say that Tay Gadali beats Ferrari in the semis to make the finals.
Oh.
Against Isaac Trumbull.
There you go, against Isaac Trumbull. But I mean, what it's going to take is, I mean, Isaac Trumbull is going to have to. I mean, well, here's the thing: if seeds hold right now, if the top 4 that we have currently, because it's Bastida, it's Ferrari, it's Trumbull, it's Gadali, then it would be what Ferrari and Trumbull wrestling in the semis. But I think
Molly
that
Keeter quarter.
yeah, I think Gadali this weekend beats Bastida and will inevitably make Ferrari number 1, which would be pretty crazy. But
Shenanigans. It would be
which
shenanigans.
I don't agree with either. I think that he should be like 6, to be completely honest. And that is not based on caliber or anything else. It's based on results in the
He
weight
doesn't
class.
have any results at heavyweight.
Exactly. That's what it's based on. Before you jump all over us for that one. But yeah, that is my call out. Take a Dolly, NCAA finalist. That's where I'm going with it. Gentlemen, anything else that we would like to dive into? This is the first week of doubling up on shows, just so people know we will be doing this moving forward. Yes, we are recording 2 shows in one night, and you're getting them not completely together. You're getting them separate. So we can discuss the recap of what went on, and then we'll give you what's going to happen coming up and give you a little preview. So anything else that you guys want to call out or matches you're excited for, anything else that we missed before we end episode 25?
While we're talking about Isaac Trumbull, he just announced that he and his wife are expecting. So congratulations to Isaac
That's
Trumbull.
awesome.
Very
His
good.
wife is a multi-time All-American swimmer, so that baby's going to have some crazy athletic genes.
That's awesome. Love it.
I would like to announce that I know technically this was my shout out thing from last episode, but I think that eventually everybody is going to just solo call duels over the loudspeakers.
I'd be
I
up
think
for it.
I think now that I think about it a little bit more, I think it's the only way to go.
It's a new way.
RAF might need some new announcers.
I
Or
was
maybe
sitting
just
2
one.
seats away from the UVA guy, and I couldn't understand a fucking word he said the whole time. So I would be fully on board with that.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, another episode in the books. Episode 25 is complete, and the season is here. So hopefully we have a injury-free season. Knock on wood, fingers crossed, all that fun stuff. Here's to great wrestling and another awesome wrestling season. As I said before, make sure you guys are entering this shoe giveaway. All of the different details, we've discussed them. I'll also add them down below just in case you need to read it. But yeah, we appreciate all the likes, the shares, the comments, the DMs, all of that fun stuff. Make sure you guys are sharing this show with all of your friends and everything else. Shout out to Fantasy Wrestling for reaching out to us to get in on those leagues this year. We will be discussing how great or how shitty our teams are as the season goes on. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening and watching the Quad Pod, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.